Hey there guys, it's Metro, and today we are going to be doing a Mythic Plus 2 review. Are you ready? I'm not giving you many choices. You'd have to pause the video because we're going to continue with the review. Or begin it, I guess. Anyway, we're doing Tazavesh Gambit. So this is not any +2. This is the +2. The easiest key on the easiest difficulty. Only question is if it's going to beat the easiest key on the easiest difficulty or not. And you're going to see already here, we got a great comment from the tank saying, if y'all can do the puzzle at the first boss, Mage and I don't know this one, as they fucking put the key in the dungeon. Watch this again. Like, the guy's trying to buy stuff. Plain crackers, I guess, wants to have them with his soup. They just literally like are talking about not knowing the fight and then just jam the key, like forcibly place the key into the slot. So here we go. This is a low key. Welcome to it. Starting a Gambit 2, and of course, we're just gonna stand still. I love this. My favorite part. I love low keys and how wacky they look at times. You swear people forget that they're timed at times. We reviewed this key on a lower key earlier in the season, and I guess I'm not really surprised to see this, but yeah, I don't see a lot of people going up the middle here very often. The runners are perennial threats to the low-key community as well. I feel like you're going to probably see a ton of craziness in this area. I love that the comment about mage food gets made and then the person doesn't even put it down before the dungeon. They come up here and drop it during combat. Like, literally, we just pulled the first pack of a dungeon. The mage is doing 0 DPS because they put a mage table down in the first global. How amazing is that? That's so great. Currently, top DPS is a rogue. Second DPS is the tank. Then we have paladin. Then we have the mage who put the mage table down. That actually doesn't change. The pack's now dead, and we're on to whatever you would consider this. Like, we have a bunch of stuff still alive because things keep running around, but it's not the same trash. Tank is still doing more damage than 2 damage dealers. It's like a fun thing to see happen. I don't ever see any keys go up the right side here. Is this like optional? Is this a viable thing? I've never seen anybody do it. I mean, it's the same trash, I guess. What does it do for count? I don't know. It looks kind of cool. There's some stuff over here. Maybe there's like a rock that you don't normally get to see. I don't know if this is a patrol or what happens here, but they come up the right side, go through this like little crevice in the rocks, and then there's a patrolling guy. He just comes up behind them. He's just like, you see at the top of the screen, he's just sneaking into the shot there, and he's like, oh, what the hell's going on over here? I've never seen any players. He thought he was safe. I think he thought he was safe. He was probably like, this is a better place to hang out. My brothers keep dying. So we're gonna be at a cool like 50 plus, maybe like 60% before we fight the first boss. This is pretty nuts. I guess it's not that different, but it does seem like a lot more count on the right side. And as we get up to the boss, we get a second reminder. I don't know why you even say this out loud, to be honest. Like, in the time that you said this, you could have learned the fight. The guy says, Mage and I don't know mechanics for this one. What? Like, why do you keep saying that? I don't know why you do the dungeon. Like, this is so crazy to me. The whole concept of it is so backwards, because if you know you don't know something, then you should figure it out before you do it, don't you think? This isn't a normal dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, he seems to indicate that we don't know the mechanics, but still are doing the dungeon despite that, and you guys are gonna have to carry us. That's how I read it, because otherwise you would have just looked it up. It's not like you didn't know it was coming. We're gonna see the evidence that they don't know the fight, because there's gonna be a giant frontal and the tank's just gonna stand in that. See, I think that's a little bit more than I don't know the mechanics. That's more like I don't know any mechanics ever, because if you stand in a giant yellow triangle, you're probably not a very good tank. I think that's kind of like obvious as shit. It's like if you're a healer and you see health bars going down and you don't heal them and you say, oh, sorry, I didn't know the mechanics. Like, no, hold on. That's a different thing altogether. Okay, so they don't know the fight. Obviously, that means they're just not going to contribute. The tank is just literally kind of standing there walking around in circles. The purple orb is just not going to be picked up. Mage takes it and then does decide that they know what they're doing, so they're going to take it over there and they're just going to kind of stand there. It was the teal one that needed to go over there, so the person with the teal one did take it, and then the purple one finally gets deposited after probably like 30 seconds or something like that. Boss getting annihilated, no problem. Also, you'll probably notice something else. We continue to talk about this topic every single video we ever review, but we're just not going to use the Bloodlust spell. Probably very common on a 2, but still can't help but bring it up. So the priest is actually explaining the fight to the bear, and after it being explained, the tank says, easy enough. Here comes the giant frontal again. He's figured it out. He moved out of it. Maybe it is easy enough. Learning's fun. Don't you guys think learning's fun? We're gonna do it again. That's actually a pretty good little dance done with the lines there, but we're going to do it again. We're going to grab the console. This is actually the perfect point of view. Now, unfortunately, we have an ad up, which a lot of people probably don't recognize. You have to kill the ad before you can actually place the orb in that receptacle, but we do kill it, and now we grab the orbs, and they're all taken. Look at this. The tank is the one with the yellow one, and they're going to figure it out, and they're going to take it. Oh, no. Okay, so they took it to the wrong slot, I guess is what happened. So the tank has the yellow one. Didn't explain that you actually have to look at the console to see it, I don't think, and that was all that really needed to be done. They just tried him until they eventually got him in the slot, and that's that boss down. No bloodless used, though. Then the boss is dead, and I guess the tank doesn't know where to go because he says, back out? Oh, no, no, no. Could you imagine if they actually just like left right there? That would be amazing. They went back and fought more Murlocs. That would be amazing. Okay, here we come up to the next area of the dungeon. Great place to mount up, I would say. Tank doesn't care. Just gonna walk up here, tread through a little bit of water here, get his paws wet, and then he's gonna be like, oh shit, my paws are wet. All right, well, we should continue though. Let's keep it moving here. We're gonna moonfire that pack, pull him in. There's still 2 mobs that haven't aggroed, so we're gonna run over there, kind of keep them separated like that song. Who's that? The Offspring. Eventually funnel in, I guess. We're fighting 5 mobs together, 1 mob not. This would have been a perfect time for a lamb. Oh my god, could you imagine? We don't get the lamb. Instead, we just kill those 5 mobs, and then that mob's still at 80. This is so wacky to me. This part always makes me wonder, like, do the tanks not have health bars on their screen or something like that? Like, you don't see that mob down there at full health? I don't know how you let that happen. That's so weird. Priest says, save lust for boss. Oh god, why would you even say that? They're not going to use the spell. You have to remind them that they even have it, probably. Also, it makes me wonder, because there is an interrupt tracker down there, and the only person on it is the tank. This seems to indicate usually that the players do not have an add-on that allows you to see stuff on their character, basically. I think this is like DBM or add-ons like DBM, basically. So if they don't have that, then you can't tell if their interrupt is up or not. Still waiting to see if Blizzard actually implements some way to allow tracking of interrupts, but if they finally do, it is going to be so much better than having to use all these add-ons, because they have forever like required like multiple steps and multiple conditions to be met. Anyway, the tank goes ahead and pulls it all because there's no affixes, so I guess why not? Still, by the way, top damage over 2 players. Even the overall chart still higher than 2.17 million overall, and that is beating the mage and the paladin. So the mage is like the duo with the tank. The paladin is not, and the paladin is losing worse than the mage, who is being told doesn't know any mechanics on the fight. Now, we talked about it on the first boss, right? And that is notable because that boss fight has a lot of mechanics that you probably need to figure out before you do the dungeon. But can you guys think of another boss that if you don't know the mechanics, things are gonna go weird? I can think of one. It's called Captain Hooktail. Time Captain Hooktail. Our captain's a dragon. You may be aware of that. Trying to explain the fight, this is unfucking believable, by the way. One of the funniest things I think I've ever seen in the entire video game. The priest says, tank here and face out. We stack on boss's ass. Okay, so obviously that did not register. The tank's just gonna stand here. Clearly never seen the encounter before, so the next word of advice is turn and look at this majesty, dude. I love World of Warcraft more than life itself. In response to turning, he literally fucking keyboard turns around 180 degrees, then eventually does move out of the mechanic, to be fair, but not before other people die. Actually kind of wacky here. I don't know if they took their own advice. I'm pretty sure the paladin does it too, by the way. Yeah, I think the paladin also just keyboard turns 180. Oh my god, dude, this is not real, dude. No way this is real. How does the mage die? The mage actually walks back into the mechanic, it looks like. Yeah, as of right now, they're out of the mechanic, and now they are running back into the mechanic. Okay, so both of those players get hit by every mechanic in the encounter. Still trying to give advice to the tank, saying kill adds with breath. And so now I guess he's maybe understanding a little bit more, but we are gonna see him get launched all the way across the map because he got hit by it. Boss is gonna get dragged. Unfortunately, our camera angle is not showing that, but yeah, just kind of wildly spinning it. I mean, that was pretty bad. When you see something like that, you know this is gonna be a rough fight, and luckily the boss is dying so freaking quick. If those 2 guys didn't die, this boss would probably be sub 50%. Of course, we're not gonna bloodlust, you know, we didn't do it anyway, but now the mage is dead. Hitting the mobs with it, maybe? I don't know, they're kind of getting a little bit kited. I think the tank's trying to figure it out, but ultimately priest is getting slowed and like chained or whatever, hooked there, so they're gonna go down as well. We got an angel on the screen, always great. Unfortunately, as you might be able to tell on the objective tracker, we cannot tell how many deaths there are because Blizzard made this crazy decision to not have deaths count, I guess, or matter in a 4 or lower, I believe, or is it just 2 and 3? I'm not really sure what levels this actually happens on, but it's pretty nuts. Anyway, I guess he's figured it out now or something, because he says, sorry. Gonna get it again and just gonna like wildly spin it again. Not really understanding that it comes out regularly and that you can be in position beforehand. Wild spin into the ads and it doesn't hit them, which is actually really shocking. So with all these ads up, we are going to also have the rogue die. I don't fully understand what this like fight looks like from a healing perspective. I know there's some kind of debuff that you can dispel as well, and it's like a big part of the fight. Yeah, this rogue is like legitimately trying to 1v1 these ads and losing to them. But I think this really shows an example of something that I talked about on this channel very heavily a while back. As this tank gets stunned again, you are going to see more and more evidence that there's a lot of players out there failing but not being punished by Blizzard adequately. Like, this guy is failing in every possible way as the tank role here, and he's still alive. Like, the boss is still like killable. It just doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, again, he gets hit by the stun there. The ads are actually going to kill us, and I think this is a really major issue. Okay, so I made a video about this back in season 3 of Dragonflight, and then Blizzard actually responded, not necessarily to the video, but to the sentiment that low keys being too easy was a problem, and that they were trying to make it a little bit harder, as again, you see the tank get knocked back for like full distance away from Hooktail there. We res the rogue. The rogue's just like running through the fire, so he dies again. I can't even believe this. Look at this. Instead of the rogue taking like the most safe route, he actually runs through multiple patches of the fire and then just stands in the fire for multiple seconds and dies. We're spamming out reses. We got mad reses, and honestly, probably was not the right call to kill this boss. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, these low keys are too easy again. We've fallen into this trap again from Blizzard. They had it good in season 1, but then everybody cried their eyes out about how hard low keys were, and Blizzard just gradually nerfed them to the point where we are back in this exact same situation. So if you were one of those people, look at what you caused, dude. This is really freaking bad for this game, because this guy is not figuring this out, dude. He's been hit by the same mechanic like 6 times on one encounter, dude. It's as easy as humanly possible, and it is not punishing him, and he is going to solo save this. No requirements from him whatsoever. He did everything wrong possible and just gets away with it. And I totally agree. The priest says it's the hardest tank fight this season. 100% agree. And this callous disregard for that idea and just coming into these dungeons without ever even seeing these fights before is so scary. It's so wrong, and it's so bad because it just proliferates up and up and up. And when Blizzard makes easy content easier and easier, then these players just get away with it like crazy. And so we come through the portal and now just continue to watch this guy. Like, what is he doing? He's just actually AFK at this point. He's gonna come up here and they ping, and I think the stone gets pinged by accident, because now he's just staring at it. Now he's just looking at it. He's like, well, that looks freaking awesome. There's enemies over here? Why are people making noises on my screen? I'll just shift out of bear form and cast a spell. Now we'll go and fight this thing. Yeah, no worries. We got 12.5 minutes after all this. That one mob's not enough for me. I'm gonna come down here and we're gonna fight more mobs. Oh, there's a caster. Oh well, I don't care about that enemy. Now there's a star that's pulsing AoE damage. Should I run over to it? Yeah, I'll turn my back to those mobs and we'll just let everybody die, because there's now a caster down there literally fucking free casting, finally getting pulled in a little bit, but by the time it's here, and we've already had multiple deaths to it. Tank says, do we clear the area? Oh god, I really wish the answer was no. I really wish they tried to fight the boss. This would have been legendary to watch them fight this boss with this trash still up. But yeah, as you see, we are gonna have an enormous amount of count. I think that going that right side is just totally non-viable. Like, you would need some kind of invis pod or something. Again, we do the exact same thing we do last time. We just pull the mobs at ranged and just let the ritualist stay out there. I don't know who has interrupts available, but we're not using them, and we are again gonna have a pulsar plus the ritualist casting, and it is gonna kill the mage and get everybody else super low. And it's just like it doesn't exist. I mean, I honestly feel like people are not aware it exists. It's not just the tank either. The rogue ultimately goes over there and does kick it, so it does kind of funnel in, but it's kind of wacky to watch, because it's only when it gets close that the tank recognizes it's in the picture and then starts walking over to it. But again, you could also see how little people are actually attacking the pulsar. The rogue has to be pinged to go over to it. The mage never looked like they were on it, and the paladin was definitely not on it. At this point, we're already way over count. We're like multiple mobs over count, so we got these mobs to die, and then still the final Starseer in the room as well. In response to the priest saying, I will ping where to tank the boss unless you know, the tank says, ping for the boss. So we ping behind the cart to try to do the trick. Let's see how this goes. Imagine trying to explain this fight though. I mean, these fights are so complicated, dude. Like, they're so much easier to just look at a video, right? I don't know. It seems crazy to even think you can come in here at this level and do that. But so we're going to sit here for a while, explain the whole fight, and then he's going to pull it. He's going to bring it right over here. Yeah, kind of. Not really though. You got to get it deep into this. If you guys don't know, these ads will spawn to the sides of the boss. So you want both sides of the boss to be blocked by either the railing there or the cart. It doesn't make a difference at this level, obviously. This rogue kind of hyper carrying this group here, by the way, doing 4 million DPS right now. Looks like 8 million overall. It's hard to see, but again, still the tank is above 2 damage dealers, doing what looks like 1.85 million overall, where the mage is doing 1.5 and the paladin is doing 1.4, I think. Priest's gonna go ahead and do the lion's share of that mechanic, and now it's time for the funniness. Let's see what happens here. Everybody's got to get to a star. Are we gonna figure this out? Kind of. I mean, kind of. We just got a bunch of people not at one, so we're gonna miss 2, but yeah, it doesn't really matter at all at this difficulty, and it looks like they kind of figured it out. It would have been a very interesting key to see without the rogue's damage and without the priest explaining all this. But yeah, this is kind of the problem with low keys, man, and we have a big issue here, and I don't know how you solve it because Blizzard just like hates doing stuff and committing to it. So we are gonna finish that dungeon. Honestly, they had no business finishing that. If that was even remotely hard, they wouldn't have gotten past the second boss. I don't know if the tank got loot or something. He's just saying, yo, like he must be happy about something. He got the mount. That's what he's happy about. Oh, okay. I thought he was saying, yo, I just beat 2 damage dealers and overall. So not only rewarded by the dungeon upgrading and a lack of punishment from the mechanics, he gets rewarded with a mount. Oh my God. Anyway, it's a big issue. I made a video on it. It was Neltharian's Lair 13. So that was like the equivalent of like a 3 right now, apparently. And the tank just kept getting eaten by Naraxes. And then when I was trying to explain it to him, other people were trying to explain it to him, he was saying he knew the fight basically, and I'm doing it on purpose. That's how you have to do it. And that's really scary. And that's far more advanced than what we have here. Obviously, we have a brand new player to the dungeon, and I get it. If they're going to learn, you know, it should be in a 2 at least. We're not talking about a 15 or something like that, but it still indicates a general principle that these players this late in the season are putting 0 research into anything. This stuff's been out. Like, this is not new content. You know what I mean? So, and this is, I think, a big reason why it's so hard to get the difficulty correct at these low key levels, because the player might blame Blizzard for those failures. They might say like, oh, this boss is so hard, man. I can't wait. This boss is impossible. But yeah, when you do every mechanic wrong, it's not going to be easy. Anyway, if you guys send me a 2, it gets reviewed. Thank you guys for another great submission. We got more to come. Otherwise, stay tuned because we got a lot of midnight beta stuff going on as well. So we'll be doing that, and that'll be it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.